Hi Earthlings. Okay, I am placing you, oh my goodness, into the box here. There we go. Okay, now we've got a lot going on in the world, and remembering that I've spoken to everyone from my first video on here onward that this is a cycle, Libra, Aries axis of the lunar nodes, Rahu, Ketu, destiny and fate, and we're going into a period of death. Now, there's some things I would like to discuss, and the first one being here is kind of Christianity-ish, yeah, or if not Christianity, let's just put it as Bible people. So I notice, I listen a lot, and I notice on the internet there's a lot of people that are talking like Jezebel was bad. Okay, so everyone's got it confused. They don't really know. They haven't really researched. They didn't really look at what happened to Jezebel or the story surrounding Jezebel. But they hear one person say so. Now all women are Jezebel, and darlings, my woman, my earthling woman out there, that is not a bad thing. A woman, Jezebel was very loyal, and she was also a priestess. Now, we've got a lot to get through, so I'm just going to, I think I'll start with Tamar. So I think everybody's confusing Jezebel, or Jezebel's getting the blame for a woman named Tamar, said also to be the ancestor in the bloodline of Izus ben Pantera. And I think I'll start with her, if I can just find my start, because there's actually 3 Tamars. And I have, there we go. There's part of her story. And Judah. Now, the story of Tamar is wrapped up in the story of Judah. So I will try my best, and let us begin. Judah, son of Jacob, whose name is Israel, or became the name Israel, and Judah, his mum was Leah, the sister of Leah and Rachel, isn't it? Or is it Rebecca? Rachel, I think. Now, so he has full older brothers, Reuben, Simon, and Levi, and his younger full brothers were Issachar and Zebulun, and Dinah was their sister, or is their sister. So that's the crew, all the children of Leah, okay? Now, so he and his brothers were really jealous of Joseph, and Jacob had made him this coat of many colors, and they were just jealous. And especially Joseph loved him. Jacob loved his son Joseph very much, and really showed it, and everyone could see it, and they were super jealous of that. You got to watch out in the family, sibling jealousy, nasty stuff. So now Judah. So when they saw, because goodness, excuse me, so Israel was, he said to Joseph, he says, go out to your brothers, see how they're going out there with the herd and things like that, and report back to me, kind of idea. So when the brothers saw him coming along, the half brothers, the older boys, they were like, we should kill him, let's kill him, and then we've got rid of him. There was a problem. Well, it wasn't really a problem. It was just that they were just very jealous and envious. And but Judah was the one who says, how about we don't kill him? We'll just chuck him in the pit. And when those Midianites come over on their slave gathering up on their trade route to Egypt, we'll chuck him on as a slave and he can get sold into Egypt. So that's what they did instead, okay? So it's in the Bible, it says, let not our hand be upon him, for he is of the same flesh. Now, in the Bible, it says that Judah married a Canaanite woman, and they had 3 sons, which were Onan, and Shelah. Now, Judah gave Tamar to the older son, but God killed So she was then given to Onan, but God killed Onan. So God isn't very happy with the children of Judah. But Judah did not want to unite Tamar with his youngest boy, Shelah. He was feeling nervous about it. By the way, first of all, Shelah was a little bit young at the time. He says, listen, just wait, and you can have Shelah later on. But then later on, when Shelah was old enough to be a husband to Tamar, he was like, a bit nervous about giving him to Tamar, because the last 2 sons that I gave to her, or that I gave her to, God killed them. It doesn't say how God killed them, just that he did. So he delayed, and meanwhile Tamar was getting older, and this prosperous tribe of Israel here was getting bigger, and Judah had his own herd and stuff going on. So anyway, the future, it was, it says, Tamar waited in vain to be given to Shelah. Now, after Judah's wife died, and then after Judah's wife died, he said that he was going to move his herd of goats to Timnath, and of course his servants would go with him and things like that. They were a whānau, and they had their own iwi, their little tribe and stuff, and so even though they were part of the bigger tribe, their hapu, but the big iwi, and they were part of Israel, but they separated, and he took his herd over this way, get some green grass over in Timnath. Now, Tamar heard that he was off to Timnath, and she was like, right. And she shot over there to Timnath, and she was already there. And then she dressed herself, and she covered herself with a veil, and she was all dressed up real flash. And she met Judah at the crossroads. Now, I want you to pay attention to what I just said, because the crossroads, that's witchy stuff, isn't it? You know, when the musicians meet at the crossroads, meet the devil at the crossroads, and they sign a contract and all this stuff. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Now, Tamar disguised herself as a prostitute and immediately went to the crossroads. And as Judah was en route, he came to the place where the 2 roads met and saw the woman there, and did not recognize it was Tamar, because she was older now, she was veiled, and she was wearing gear that she didn't wear back over at the, back home at the whare. So Judah requested her services as a prostitute. He was like, you're looking fine. Are you into partaking of some sex? And Tamar said, yeah. He says, well, okay, I'm ready to barter for it. What do you want? And she says, I want your seal, I want your cord, and I want your staff and a goat. So she wanted his seal, special seal, like your stamp that you stamp onto wax. His cord, I'm not sure what the cord is, something important. His staff and a goat. So he was like, sweet as, and he gave all his gear and a goat, and there they had sex. And then Tamar went off with his stuff back to this town called Timnath. And then when she got to Timnath, she took off those clothes and she put on her own clothes, and back she went to where Israel is and the whole tribe and everyone. And the next day, Judah said to his servants, "Go into Timnath and get my stuff back. I want my staff, I want my cord, and I want my seal." So they went into Timnath and they were looking around for this prostitute, and they said to people, "We're looking for the prostitute." And they're like, "What? We don't have a prostitute here." And they're like, "Yeah, you do." "No, we have not got a prostitute. Sorry, guys." And they were like, "Uh-oh." So anyway, and they went back to Judah. They were like, "There is no prostitute in Timnath and we couldn't find your stuff." Judah was like, "Oh, okay." So he thought that it was gone. Okay, about 3 months go by, 3 or 4 months or something like this. And one of his servants came rushing on out to where he was from Israel, one of his little spies there, and they were like, "Tamar's pregnant. I saw her and she's like hapu'e, she's big. She's got bubbles. She's got a little muku." Now, Judah was like, "Burn her." And he was like, "Bring her into the court," and he's on his donkey. Back he went to where Israel, the tribe of Israel, and Israel was there, and so Israel was sitting there, and Judah was a judge, and I think Isaac was still alive, and he was a judge as well. The 3 judges were sitting there, and they were like, "Bring in Tamar." So their servants came to get Tamar, and she was like, "This is the cord, and this is the seal, and this is the rod of the man that had sex with me and got me pregnant." And the servants were like, oh my God, what the heck? Because everyone knew it was Judah's stuff. And they took it to the judges, Isaac and Jacob and Judah, who was sitting at the gate there in the courtyard, and they brought it to him, and they were like, "Tamar said, this is the man who had sex with her, got her pregnant," and they handed them the seal and the cord and the staff. And in the Bible it says Judah went white and then he went green. Oh no, I guess he was a bit shitting himself. And of course he himself had done a bad deed. He sort of almost prostituted himself in a way, or whatever. He was unfaithful or whatever. I don't know if his wife was really dead or not. But anyway, so yeah, he was like, "Burn the bitch to death." And then what did happen? Judah's countenance grew pale and then green. That's what it says. Oh. Okay, the message, blah, blah, blah. Now, thus Judah released Tamar from her sentence and publicly declared his relationship with her. So he had to, everyone knew, all the servants knew. I mean, she had his stuff, and she gave it to his servants, and his servants carried it back to the courtyard. So everyone saw, so he couldn't deny it, you see. So he was like, "All right, I have to admit." Now Tamar gave birth to 2 twins, which is Perez and Zerah. Perez became the king of Persia, so saith the Babylonian Talmud says that. First king of the Median kingdom, the establisher of this kingdom, the Medes. He united all the Median tribes. Now the Medes are Median tribes, which is he must have married into the family, because Abraham's sons to Keturah. So Abraham had Sarai, his first wife, Sarah, and then Hagar, the Egyptian handmaiden of Sarah. And then he had Keturah, and to Keturah he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 6 sons, and the 6 sons are Zimram, Jokshan, Medan, Ishbak, Shua, and Midian. So Midian held the land in Arabia beside the upper Red Sea at the west bank by the Gulf of Aqaba, and Medan left Arabia and travelled west to the Mesopotamian marshlands in what is now called Iraq. The Hawazeh marshes that straddle the Iraq-Iran border, described as South Mesopotamian. Arabic language. They've got a unique language. So it's difficult to classify them. And of course, everyone's got an Indian bloodline because, as I've explained to you before, all of these Semite, Egyptian, Babylonian, Assyrian tribes of the old time came from the Indus Valley, which is in India. Now, I have got so much I want to share with you today. So and then of course they're saying that now they're trying to exterminate that bloodline. And this bloodline is said to be the bloodline of Jesus, the genetic link between India and the ancient Sumerians and the Nabateans. And they're trying to kill off Jesus' bloodline, which is called your lineage. Okay. And I'm just going to try to get us to where I want to be. Oh, I had a freaky dream. I'll tell you about this freaky dream I had. But before I do, is that my start? I must be getting close. What have I got there? The palace at Susa Darius. Okay, so I'll go for Elam. I'll give that a tap up. And what we have here, so you're looking at the Persian Sea, Persian Gulf, the Gulf of it was called Elam in the olden days, and of course that became Babylonia. And the 2 rivers that come down are the Tigris and the Euphrates. And I've got some great pictures of that. Am I going the right way? The river Yabok. I'm talking about the Red Sea. So Judah and Tamar. We're looking at Genesis 38. Don't know how old Judah is, but Tamar would have been a beauty, of course. Maybe this is a bit clearer. Oh, I've got a lot of light coming through there. And agreeable that it would have been difficult because, if you do only see the eyes, it's not exactly easy, isn't it? Is it if they were, covered? So the Jewish people know who they're talking about, of course. Judah, the Jewish people. And she is the Scarlet Woman. Moving along. In the Revelation, it says something about the woman clothed with the sun, and I kept getting a vision of I've seen it sometimes in the golden time of day. It's really hard I can't find a picture, but you know what I'm showing you? There's something going on. That's the red dragon. He's a jealous guy. Now, Oh, I'm so excited. I found these great places. So, En-Gedi, also spelled En-Gedi, meaning spring of the kid, is an oasis and an archaeological site and a nature reserve in Israel located west of the Dead Sea near Masada. So they didn't destroy this near Masada and the Qumran caves in Gedi. Now I want to show you this. Oh, I haven't got the full waterfall. I do. Can you see that? Oh my god, it's beautiful. And I'm telling you, Masada was beautiful too. All that area was. This is En-Gedi. And the archaeological expedition of En-Gedi evacuated has been called the Essenes site. Just so happy that I found these. There's an oasis, guys. Now Tamar means date tree, and I think the date is sweet. They say date tree. There's two more Tamars. One is the daughter of David, and with her full brother Absalom, and then Absalom himself had a daughter called Tamar, but we have lost her. I don't know if they killed her. What happened there? Now, so jumping forward on the Israel history is like we got only three kings: Saul, David, and then Solomon. Bad time, death, Solomon. And Bathsheba is the daughter of Sheba, and you know the Queen of Sheba, so Ethiopia, and she was a very dark-skinned woman, so that made Solomon a dark-skinned man. And and Solomon was the last king, and after that the tribes split, and 10 of them went back to the original place, which was north of Jerusalem. It says, at this time the children of Israel split into 3 factions: a loyal faction on Mount Gerizim, a heretical faction that followed false gods, and the faction that followed Eli, the son of Yephni, on Shiloh. Now Shiloh is in Samaria. And I think it's clear what it's saying there. Now, I found that Greece, because we know, this is, and I'm talking democracy, but look at that. That name, I can't say it, I haven't tried, is what is now called Greece. So now we say Greece, but back then we used to say Ferrari. That's interesting. Okay, so democracy. Democracy began in Athens, and Athens is the owl. So all that Bohemian Grove stuff with the owl and everything, that's about democracy in Athens, and there's something bad about it because the Macedonian king, which was Alexander the Great, he did not like the Athens. So there was 2 things going on. Now, this is the bottom of the wall in Jerusalem. Look at how big the blocks are. And And so that's in Solomon's time, and we know how that was. Well, we don't know how that was built, but we do know that the Freemasons use it as a story, and also that there's like this big demon story and a ring and Solomon's this and that. So we've got the real big blocks, and then we've got the medium blocks, and then at the top of the wall we've got the human-sized blocks. Okay, so I'll just expand for you. No, it didn't come out very clear. But as you can see there, we've got the human-sized blocks. Then we've got some quite big ones. That's in the second temple building. The human ones is the third temple building, because the temple has been built 3 times. This is the walls, okay? So, of Jerusalem. Now, I don't want to go too fast, but let us... Median... So many... I've just done so much traveling. So, merchants... Now, Ezra, who was highly respected in Judaism, also by the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, and he was buried in Babylon when Artaxerxes was alive, the first in the Persian Empire. When the Persian Empire replaced the Babylonian Empire. It's all family. It's all the family. Okay, so in 640 BC, Elam, which is the Midianites, I think, were defeated by Ashurbanipal. Cyrus the Great reconquers in 538 BC. After 80 years of Median rule, Susa is proclaimed the Achaemenid capital. Darius the Great. Now, nobody, even down to Alexander, wrecked Babylon. Everyone loved the place. It was so beautiful. So I do not know who destroyed Babylon. That I don't know. And if I'm right, Ezra got sent. So let's go back for Ezra, because I'm pretty sure. So what happened was the was it Cyrus? Artaxerxes, perhaps. Ezra. Okay, yes. Now Ezra was a prophet. He was buried. He was a descendant. Let's see, the Western Wall. Now, Ezra was a descendant of Shariah. I'll just shut that. The last high priest. Oh, sorry. Just shut that. To serve in Solomon's temple, and a close relative to Yeshua, the first high priest of the second temple. So that's why I keep on trying to say to you, Yeshua is not Jesus, but Yeshua is the first high priest of the second temple. Please look it up. His name is spelt Jeshuah in the Bible. Ezra returned from Babylon and reintroduced the Torah in Jerusalem. So everyone gets taken and they're in captivity in Babylon. And Ezra was living in Babylon. He was happy as. And Artaxerxes of the Achaemenid emperor sent him to Jerusalem to teach the laws of God to those who did not know them. So Ezra led a group of Judean exiles back to Jerusalem and enforced the observance of the Torah on them. So Ezra took a bunch of primarily Jews, tribe of Judah, back to Jerusalem and was like, right, this is it. We're going to do the law. We're going to do the Levite, Torah, all that, follow it, bang, bang, bang.
When Ezra discovered that Jewish men had married foreign pagan means Buddhist, excuse me for sniffing, but remembering back in that time, there was an empire and it was called the Pagan Empire. And from that empire, the Buddhist belief system rose up, and it was real strong, and it was going through India and all around all that same area through the Mediterranean, everywhere up into Tibet, over to China, along the Silk Road. It was the number one thing going on, okay? And it was actually in competition. So it was the number one reigning religion at the time, and that is called paganism. So it's not about witchin woo-woo, it's about Buddha. And Buddha was around 500 years BC, back in the time when they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose our religion to the Buddhists. Do I have a date? I think I did. It was written somewhere here. Anyway, let me keep going. So if Ezra discovered that the Jewish men had married foreign pagan Buddhist, that's Burma. So the pagan empire was what is Burma, and now it's got this the army of Myanmar has taken over their land, which is what they're going to try and do. It was a coup. They're going to try and do it in America, in Venezuela, and wherever else. They just did it. They just did it somewhere else too. It's India this side and that side, and it's right in Bangladesh. They just did it there too. So it's like Myanmar and Bangladesh, they're right beside each other as well. Very interesting. Well, I don't know if it's interesting or not. But let us see, what have we got? So from the pagan empire in Burma. So he tore his garments in despair, and he forced the purification of the community by dissolving their sinful marriage. And he went on and on about the Torah law, so as they were fearful to intermarry with people of different religions. Some 20 years later, Artaxerxes sent Nehemiah, his cupbearer, a Jewish noble, in his service as governor of Jerusalem, and he was tasked to build the wall. That's the second division of the wall. So the first division, the blocks are this big. The second division, the blocks are this big. When the wall was completed, the Jews entered a covenant to keep the law and to keep themselves separate from all people. Okay? Now, the rebuild began under Cyrus the Great, who had permitted the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild Solomon's temple. And they returned in 538 BC. So the pagan religion was up and running and taking off throughout. It was coming up from Burma through Bangladesh and over to India and over to China and through Afghanistan and coming over the mountains, Tibet and everything, and along and Petra and there it was there. Now, where am I? 538 BC, the foundation of the second temple was laid in 536 BC, the second year after their return. And after a period of strife, it was completed in the 6th year of Darius, 516 BC, which is 20 years later. The Jerusalem wall is 2,497 miles long, which is it's 2.497 miles long, which is 4 kilometers. And it says in the Bible that Nehemiah built the wall in 52 days. So he was able to build 4 kilometers of wall in 52 days. So who knows what bloodline Nehemiah came from? He was a giant. Now, what do we have? Nehemiah stayed 12 years as governor, repopulated the city of Jerusalem with Jews purified, so that's the tribe of Judah, enforced the cancellation of debt, enforced the divorce of Jewish men from non-Jewish wives. So what we're talking about here is even if you're from the tribe of Ephraim or Manasseh, like, hey, look, you're not Jewish, you can either convert because you're like in the blood, but if you don't convert to Judaism, unmarried, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. So forced the divorce of Jewish men from Jewish wives. Then he went back to King Artaxerxes in Susa, the winter capital in what is now Iran. So Kazakhstan, which I love the name, Kazakhstan, known as Elam in the ancient Bronze Age, 3200 to 539 BC. So this Elam, this Kazakhstan area in Iran is like the best place. It was like the Winter Palace was there, guys. So we're talking about a very beautiful place. So I've already discussed that. The current walls of Jerusalem, I wonder if I should say about my dream. I had this freaky dream, and it was this Israelite at the wall, and he was like doing this, and my spirit was like, and he was actually calling my spirit. My spirit was like putting on the brakes like Superman. It's like trying to stop because I did not want to get called to that man. He was trying to call my spirit there. This is just before this. All this hoo-ha started with Iran and stuff. Been very busy studying. And I woke up, I got such a fright, my heart was racing. So in 342 BC, Alexander of Macedon conquered and had these mass weddings in Susa, which of course we just said is Kazakhstan. He blended the Macedonians with the Persians and their traditions and did a big celebration. He had his Persian wife, and that's when they poisoned him and everything, because he was after he was into the republic. He wasn't into democracy. Democracy is about capitalism. It's about the elitist. What have I got? I think I've got it. Democracy began in Athens. And the Republic was invented by Plato. So Republicans and the democracy. So the Republic, the Democrats and the Republicans are the two wings of the same bird. We keep saying this. Now the regime, the government regime, goes through 5 things. Goes through aristocracy, which is when you had philosopher kings, and it was a wisdom-loving rulership, and there was a detachment. And then it says we have a timocracy, and we have less cultivation of virtues, more wealth is accumulating, the art of war becomes important, and the governance is more ambitious. And then we have the oligarchy, which is what what we're learning about now, and it's the rich are ruling, and they want to rule with temperance and moderation, like, say, Putin, okay? Because temperance and moderation equals accumulation of money for them. War equals a loss, whereas they're into temperance so that they can accumulate. And then we've got this democracy, so it's like where the lower class is the mob. We have a mob rule, populism, which is a clever demagogue exploited to take power and establish tyranny where nobody has discipline and society is in chaos. So the democracy, what as they call it, where they're like, we love Trump or we love Hitler and all that sort of stuff. That person that all the public goes for turns into the tyrant, okay? The tyrant enslaves, uses his guards to remove the best social elements in individuals to retain his power and provoke warfare. Now, I found something out. And I found it by accident. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of listening. And you know how Trump always says, where's Joe? He's in the basement and all that sort of stuff. And it's like some weird thing he says. You're like, what is he talking about? Well, the basement is at the Museum of Natural History and was used in The Celebrity Apprentice and The Apprentice. So a long time ago he did a show. What am I doing? And in that show, TV show, there was a basement, and in that basement there was this where they had their that's where they had their I don't know, they're like caravans or something. And these caravan things is like where the actresses and all those sort of the trailers. They had those trailers. Would you look at that? There used to be a beautiful castle and stuff along there. It's in ruins now. That's the Euphrates. No, is that the Euphrates? Yeah, that's Euphrates. There's some more of the Euphrates for you. Once upon a time, all through there was absolutely gorgeous. And this is the Tigris. Woo. Now, I hope you can see the Tigris River, a place called Ashur, a place called Babylon. The other river to the other side there is the Euphrates. And then if I, nope, wrong way, reduce that down, there's the area that is on the news. Now, I was looking for, I can't remember what, but, oh yeah, that's right, I'm going to tell you some stuff about Q. That's in Vegas. And there it is again in Vegas. This one's in Memphis. From Memphis to Vegas, a tribute to Elvis Presley. Don't know how to tell you how sad I am about all this because I myself thought Elvis Presley was amazing. This is a thing from Q. It says 144,000. Pack your bags. I don't know what it means, of course. That's what Israel did. They made this Trump coin. It's called the Temple coin, and it's Trump there. And actual fact, it's Trump and Cyrus the Great. See if I can enlarge that. So we got Cyrus the Great there, and the Babylonian Empire here, and Trump and old Cyrus. It's a good old coin that they did for Israel. And remember what Trump was like. He was like, you know, that was a great dinner. It scared me. So first of all, he was talking about Hannibal. And from the great guy or whatever he did. And I tell you what, I've got these, yes. Now, just going to show you some Q posts. They're important. And that one was posted in 2017. There's quite a bit more on it. I'm very thirsty. Now, I don't know if I can. Oh, that's right. I will keep going. Well, I will show those later. But I looked up on Q and I put in the word Vance, VANCE, and boy, did I get some information. Now, I want to remind everybody that Trump's wife, Melania, is not Russian. She's from Slovenia, which is by Croatia. Absolutely gorgeous place. And as we can see, it is a place where the elites live. Now, luckily for Slovenia, it has not been destroyed, even though lots of other places, Babylonia, etc., Slovenia has not been destroyed. They kept some of Russia too, didn't they? So, if I go over here, and I'll show you the whole thing. That's quite a lot of boats, isn't it? I've got them in the Red Sea, in the Mediterranean, and in the Persian Gulf. Oh, it's very late. Now, this is the American Museum of Natural History. Look at that. So, what's going on in the basement there? Do we know what's going on in the basement there? I'm not American, so I actually don't even know where this building actually resides. But perhaps if there's someone from America interested in having a look, if you can find information that I can't, that'd be great too. I'm interested. Sadly, I learned some bad things. There's some important names here. There's 7 names. Egypt, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. There's a bit more. And that's just those. That's Egypt, America. Went there to sort of like be allies with them apparently. And so anyway, we have here the former NATO commander acknowledges Iranian and Syrian support for resistant groups such as Lebanon's Hezbollah and the Palestinian movement Hamas, but neither Hezbollah, which is Hezbollah, and I don't know why they call it Hezbollah, or Hamas were targeting Americans, he writes. Why not build international power against Al-Qaeda? Because back then it was Al-Qaeda, remember? But we know who owns Al-Qaeda now, runs it. It's the United Nations runs Al-Qaeda now. And they've got some pictures of themselves there with it. So, former commander of NATO's forces in Europe, Clark, it claims he met senior military officer in Washington November 2001 who told him the Bush administration was planning to attack Iraq first before taking action against Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Iran, Somalia, and Sudan. Okay, so that's the list. And it came from the Bush administration where it was started. And that's when I Pet Goat started, and that's when this whole Kim Clement prophet started prophesizing, and Trump started using the future programming with the quantum computer, foretelling, and perhaps a time travel came, and everything. It's going to be so exciting when we know the whole story. But meanwhile, this is where we are, and as we can see, there's a bunch of crazy people going on, and they got given a place and they're not happy with it. They want to take over the whole area and stuff, and the only way they know how to do things is through bloodshed. And I don't know who their God is all about, but he's obviously not peaceful. Anyway, I've got to go. So I'm sending my love and safety, and I want you all, everyone, all of us, including myself, to keep a quiet confidence and strengthen our awareness. That's our soul. Just know that our body is going to be a part of this earth anyway. That's what it's here for, okay? Try to make it as healthy as possible before it goes into the ground. But mind you, when we become a part of the earth, it's, don't sort of push too much on it if you're living in poverty or anything like that. Try your best to save the world. We've got the internet. Let's use it for the purpose of good. And keep on cultivating your spirit so that it's incredibly great. Now, I love you all very, very much, and there's more to talk about. It's new moon in Leo. It's the Leo, the crown, and also a time of connecting to our sun in a big way, which is the all-soul, father of all soul. Okay, so I better go. Okay, bye. Love you.